What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Entire Game Channel. I am AJ Gills. How's it going? I am finally back. Yesterday was not a fun time. I'll do the same sort of announcements that I did at the beginning of the State of Decay 2 video I uploaded earlier today. How's it going? If you're new to this program, this is my weekly news show. I gather news from around the web. There we go. I have more than 3 stories this week. This is a fairly long show. I'm just kind of breaking them up. But our first 3 stories are already all set here. Links to everything that I talk about will be in the description below, along with timestamps, so you can skip around as you wish. Now, on to the announcements. Excuse me. That I had. First off, explaining why I had no uploads yesterday. Excuse me. Jeez. No uploads yesterday. The internet in my complex went out. It wasn't just my apartment. It was everyone. And company had to send somebody out to mess with the box. The problem was we had an ice storm in the middle of the day, and it made them. They were all going to show up kind of in the afternoon, but the storm, since it was so hard to drive everywhere, it ended up pushing that back even further. So it took them late. I think I didn't get my internet back until about like 8-9 o'clock. It was late. Other than that, what else? What were my other announcements? A Way Out is going to get pushed back a tad, I think to next weekend. This is just because I had a couple guys over to my apartment. We sat and we played A Way Out. It was a lot of fun. The problem was there was a lot of weird stuff going on in the videos, recording-wise. My software was bugging out, apparently. So just depending on like when we could get together next, it's looking like that. The next possible day is this upcoming Friday, so A Way Out is postponed, but Far Cry 5 and the end to Batman the Enemy Within will both still be on Tuesday, so we at least have some new stuff coming up. I felt like there was one last thing. Nope, I can't think of it off the top of my head. So first article, the war has finally ended, everybody. Ubisoft ends long-running battle with investor Vivendi. Tencent acquires new stake. Article Brian Barnett, IGN. Now, I think a lot of people would probably find this kind of dry. I've been following this story, I think since it broke, almost a year and a half ago. And Ubisoft has finally fought this off. The article reads, the long-running battle between Ubisoft and Vivendi has finally come to an end, with Vivendi agreeing to sell its entire stake in Ubisoft. The agreement stipulates Vivendi will sell all its shares in Ubisoft, which amounts to 27.3% of Ubisoft share capital, and 30,489,300 shares. Ubisoft will buy back all shares owned by Vivendi, and Vivendi agrees not to acquire any shares in Ubisoft for the next 5 years. The Ontario Teachers Pension Plan and Chinese social media and game development giant Tencent will also enter as long-term investors in Ubisoft as part of the transaction. Tencent and Ubisoft have signed a strategic partnership agreement to expand Ubisoft's reach in China moving forward. According to Ubisoft, Tencent will operate, publish, and promote, and I quote, several of Ubisoft's most successful titles on PC and mobile in the Chinese market, end quote. Off the bat, I'll just say this. Look, I'm really happy to see this. I'm really glad Ubisoft fought this off. I've said this before. I am a massive Ubisoft fan, and I know a lot of people find that people like to take pot shots at Ubisoft because they reuse a lot of assets. I mean, you play what is it? I was saying this because when I'm playing AC Origins, I'm playing with Senu. The little eagle that can fly above you, and you can scout things out from above with the eagle. Well, I mean, that was just like the owl in Far Cry Primal. I mean, if you play enough Ubisoft games, you can kind of pick out like when each one in the series was. And I'm not even talking like within franchises. I'm talking like everything Ubisoft makes. Like there was a time that, you could see things that were used in the previous Assassin's Creed that was used in a Far Cry game, and then something in the next AC game was used in the last Far Cry game. You really see that within Ubisoft, and now Ubisoft's going into those games as service models. I mean, they're launching The Crew 2. They're working on The Division 2, Skull and Bones, which is basically just the ship combat part of Assassin's Creed 4, just in that multiplayer universe sort of thing. Now, whether or not that stuff's going to be successful, that's a totally different debate, and I've ranted enough on my whole thing with games as service. But all in all, I'm glad Ubisoft can still retain its individuality as a company. And again, it's because they own my favorite franchises. I mean, they got Far Cry, they got Assassin's Creed, they've got a lot of really good. I mean, Splinter Cell. They got a lot of cool stuff at Ubisoft. I'm just afraid of somebody else taking over and just running that into the ground. I'm really afraid of that now, and I understand again why some people don't like Ubisoft. I think if Ubisoft makes a few bad turns, they can almost end in the position that BioWare's in right now. I mean, like I said, I think it would they'd have to take a few really bad turns to get into where BioWare is right now in Anthem. I've said this before. If Anthem doesn't do well, BioWare is done. I have a very strong feeling that BioWare is not going to last if Anthem doesn't do well. But all in all, I'm tangenting. Ubisoft, really glad that they broke away from Vivendi, that they're still going to stay under the control of the Guillemets, especially Yves. I really like Yves Guillemot. I like his personality. I think he really does like gamers, and I think that they're trying to make stuff for everyone, that everyone can enjoy, not just fans, not just hardcore gamers. I think they're trying to make stuff for everyone. I think they're trying to make stuff that everyone can kind of get on and play. And again, so it's like I said, I can get why some people don't like it. I think some people don't like that they don't change a lot from iteration to iteration. But again, I really like the company. So let's see here. The article continues. Previously, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot called the potential of a Vivendi takeover a, and I quote, disaster, end quote, even going so far as creating a buyback program to regain control over its stock and prevent Vivendi from increasing their stake in the company. Vivendi executives weren't even sure if they would take over Ubisoft or end up selling their shares, and even ruled out a short-term hostile takeover last November. The two companies have been fighting since Gameloft backed a hostile takeover bid in 2016. For more on Ubisoft's expansive game catalog, all that stuff, yeah, right now I'm still playing Curse of the Pharaohs DLC, really like it, and Far Cry 5, can't flippin' wait. But yeah, I mean that's I've pretty much said all I want to say. I just again wanted to bring up. I'm so glad that they broke free of this. I love Ubisoft, and I really hope this partnership with Tencent goes well, and that they can break into that new market. I guess moving on to another studio that I absolutely love. Absolutely love the studio. CD Projekt Red opens third studio to work on Cyberpunk 2077. Is it Roclaw? Is that how that is? Is that how that's pronounced? Is it Roclaw? I'm going to say Roclaw, and somebody can correct me and give me a phonetic spelling. Article also Brian Barnett, IGN. CD Projekt Red is opening a new studio in Wrocław, Poland to aid in the development of upcoming title Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red announced the new Wrocław studio is made up of 18 veteran game developers and largely comprised of former members of Wrocław-based developer Strange New Things, which in turn was created by former Techland and IO Interactive developers. The Wrocław studio will join CD Projekt Red, Warsaw, and Krakow to help bring the futuristic RPG to life. And I quote, "We're pretty hyped to be on the spearhead of this new office." Paul Zwadny, I have no idea how to pronounce that, head of CD Projekt Red Wrocław, said, "We know Wrocław inside and out, and it's an amazing place to make games. The team is strong, and I'm sure we have both the experience and the creative firepower to make Cyberpunk 2077 an even better game," end quote. Oh, continuing the quote, Wrocław is one of the biggest and most technologically advanced cities in Poland, and a playing field for serious creative talent. CD Projekt Red president and joint CEO Adam I can't read Polish names. Kuznicki. Fuck me. I think the scope of our current and future projects, as well as the overall package we're bringing in, will pull in people who were hesitant to move to Wrocław and Krakow. The founding dev team of CDPR Wrocław is already pretty stellar, but I still can't wait to see what talents we'll discover in new people along the way, end quote. For more on Cyberpunk 2077, all that stuff. yeah, I'm really glad CD Projekt Red's doing this. I'm glad they're expanding. I don't ever think CD Projekt Red is. I think even when CD Projekt Red like gets big, I mean, they say 3 studios, but I'm not. But even if they have like 3 studios, like the individual studios are not massively filled. CD Projekt Red, in like the scope of like a AAA game developer, like developing company, CD Projekt Red is really small. And I think that's actually to their benefit. I think CD Projekt Red is, I think they're incredibly dedicated. I think they're incredibly smart. They make great games. I mean, come on, all 3 Witcher games were hits. And I mean, The Witcher 3 is just, that thing was a masterpiece. I mean, that was a 10 out of 10 for me. Loved it. And I think it's just because, again, it's their attention to detail, and it's these small teams, I think, lets CD Projekt Red really focus on the writing and focusing on making stuff. Yeah, it takes forever in between titles, but I'm really stoked for Cyberpunk 2077. I like tabletop stuff. Cyberpunk isn't really like my favorite tabletop world, but that's because the combat system in Cyberpunk is kind of weird with the how the hit system works, how it's like random body parts, but that's a different discussion. Yeah, but I mean, this kind of segues into our next article. Cyberpunk 2077 will likely be at E3 2018, won't launch with multiplayer. Article Joe Screbbles, IGN. Cyberpunk 2077 will be shown in some capacity at this year's E3 and won't be launching with a multiplayer mode. Speaking at CD Projekt Red's financial results conference, company president Adam Kaczynski was asked about what could be shown at the LA Gaming Conference, and I quote, "We haven't announced that yet," he replied. "We will announce it just before," end quote. Of course you will. While there's a chance that announcement could be we aren't showing anything at E3, it seems likely that we'll see a glimpse of the elusive RPG this June. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we know CD Projekt Red's going to be at E3. We know that for certain. But the question is, what are we going to see from them? I still say this, and it'll be extremely funny if they show up during the Microsoft conference like they did when they first revealed Gwent. Because the full launch of Gwent is supposed to be this year. They come out during the Microsoft conference, and they just talk about Gwent and leave. And I want to see everyone just light their hair on fire and flip the fuck out. That would be so freaking funny. Look, I'd hate it too. And when I record my videos for E3 over the summer, I will be sitting there cursing and screaming into a microphone if they come out and talk about Gwent for like 5 minutes and leave. I will be one of those people who will just be lighting their hair on fire. Well, oh my god, that would be so funny. As has become a pattern with Cyberpunk details, there's not a great deal to go on, but Kaczynski confirmed that the launch version of the game will be a single-player experience, yeah, no shit, but wouldn't rule out different plans for its expansions. And I quote, "First of all, we're going to deliver players a huge story-driven role-playing game for a single player, as was the case with The Witcher 3. As to further extensions of the game, I don't like to comment on that, but I'm not saying it's not going to be the case because we already said in the past that we wanted our future projects to integrate online components at some point," end quote. When asked about the success of the Switch, and before we get talking about the Switch, talking about this multiplayer thing that people are kind of talking about, it's obviously going to be a single player experience. The question is, how do you turn a tabletop RPG where you usually play with 3-4 other people? So I mean, usually it's like a team of 3 or 4, or 5 people, in the world. The question is, how do you take that experience and boil it down so that one person can play inside the world as one class? I mean, you have to make the classes a little broader. I want to know how you play an entire campaign as a netrunner. I mean, that would be a netrunner, for those who aren't super familiar with Cyberpunk, is basically a hacker. And that's my question. Like, how will that work? But my guess, for when he's talking about the expansions, I'm going to guess there's not going to be competitive multiplayer. I'm going to call this now and kind of put my flag in the sand. Cooperative multiplayer. And that multiplayer will be a drop in, drop out. Maybe not drop in, drop out. If any studio is going to do it, and if there's anyone ambitious enough to try this, I think it would be Ubisoft. I think it would be CD Projekt Red. That we, all 3 or 4 of us, play. How to put it? It's sort of like like what I'm thinking is it's sort of like a GTA Online kind of thing, where it's not like every player exists in this world, but me and my 2 teammates, we pick our class and we create our party. But we can split the party anytime we want. Like, we don't have to go on the same objective. We can go do other stuff. So one person can be doing something that totally screws the other 2 players. Like, they can betray them. Like we're creating, like, each player has their own story. Like, we can play as a group, or we can play as a group until we decide, hey, look, this quest it seems like you 2 can handle it. I'm gonna go over here. But they're going to go over there and maybe do something maybe there's like some political story, or there's something that they're doing that you don't know about yet because maybe they unlocked it on their quest menu, but it's not shown on yours. I think that could be really cool. If anybody's following what I'm saying, I'm trying to do this quickly. Because I got like a shitload of text messages that I kind of feel like I need to respond to, but I don't want to spend an hour on this topic because I can flush this idea out. I think it's really cool. Basically, what I'm saying is, say me and someone else is playing. They found something that like unlocked a quest for them, but I don't have it on my menu because only they know about it. So it's like, hey, I'm playing as like the combat guy, and he's playing as the hacker. Well, he says, hey, you're the combat guy, and this is gonna be like a combat mission or whatever. Really, I'm no help to you. So you go in and do the combat, and I'll go do something else in the world that'll help our team. But he goes out and he does that one quest, but it's in an attempt to screw you over. I think that could be cool. Or he could go do that quest and it would end up helping you, or these quests can almost interlink. I mean, that might be extremely difficult, and I might be talking about something that's borderline impossible. But, oh my god, that would be awesome. But what I at least expect is cooperative multiplayer, more back into, I guess, the realm of reality, and not me just kind of wishing. Back into the realm of reality, I'm expecting when I say cooperative multiplayer, I expect something kind of like Divinity Original Sin 2, where we each control a character, but it's still party based, and it's still we as opposed to playing the story solo, we play it together. If that makes sense, that's what I'm talking about. All right. When asked about the success of the Switch and if that affected the platform CD Projekt Red is targeting, Kaczynski all but ruled out a version of Cyberpunk for Nintendo's console. And I quote, "When talking about our larger games, we are focusing on the strongest devices out there, the high-specs PC and consoles. We don't plan Nintendo Switch release now." End quote. Kaczynski also reconfirmed a number of details we've heard previously. In the only scrap of detail about the single-player experience, he explained that players will create their character, and I quote, "and they will range through various classes," end quote. So it's a class-based RPG. He also reiterated that the game will not feature microtransactions of any kind, saying that Cyberpunk will be, and I quote, "a single-player game purchased for a one-off fee without any micropayments whatsoever, without any hidden things whatsoever, just as it was the case with The Witcher 3, end quote. So it's basically, hey, look, we're going to launch. I think The Witcher 3 dropped with, 15 pieces of DLC. Here's an alt costume for Ciri. What was it? It was Ciri, Yennefer, and Triss. Here's like a horse armor set, and here's this, and here's that, and here's a bunch of like free cosmetic stuff, and here's 1 or 2 extra missions because you might have played it on PS4, or something like that. So I mean, there was some like little free stuff, and like the only thing you had to pay for were the massive expansions. And I mean, it was like $20 for Hearts of Stone, and that was like 30 hours of gameplay, or maybe not 30, but I mean, it added a big grouping to just the main area of the game. And then the Blood and Wine DLC, which I think was $30, and that added the entirety of Toussaint. I mean, if anything, that is CD Projekt Red's done their DLC right. I mean, they are a company that nobody should complain at. Hell, I have the box sets of both expansions, so I have 4 decks of Gwent. That's awesome, if you ask me. Let's see. Finally, we got another hint that Cyberpunk could bridge the gap between the current generation of consoles and the next. And I quote, "Technology-wise, Cyberpunk is very advanced. Our technology is ready to interface with the future generations. The game is developed in such a way that it can use very powerful future equipment, but I cannot tell you more beyond that today. No future generation of consoles has been announced." End quote. We still don't know what we'll actually get to play Cyberpunk, but we know that work on it is gearing up. Only this week, CD Projekt Red opened a third studio in Wrocław, Poland, specifically to work on the game. Alright, that's the end of the first block of articles, and man, I've already gone like 20 minutes. We'll be back in I guess for you it's no amount of time. I'll be back a couple minutes after I stand up, stretch my legs. Alright guys, here we are in our second block, our first article that we have coming up. Give me a second, I'll try and get that to stop. There we go. Just so I don't have problems on my computer here. First article coming by way of IGN. Yakuza Kiwami 2 coming west on PS4 August 28th. Who doesn't love a good steelbook? Fair point. Like I said, Seth G. Macy, IGN. Does this surprise anyone? I mean, we had Yakuza Kiwami, and honestly, I finished the Let's Play for it. Loved it. But it's really hard to make a Yakuza game that I won't love. So I'll say that. I like Yakuza Kiwami. I like Yakuza 0. I'm probably going to like Yakuza Kiwami 2. Although this is what I've said this. Really, what I really want them to do is to release a freaking do a re-release. Like I'll play like the PS3 whatever 3, 4, 5. Like don't even remaster them. Just make 3, 4. Just relaunch 3, 4, 5 on the PlayStation. Now I'm sure it's probably like on like the streaming services or the whatever that stuff is. That's really confusing to me. Just give me like a bundle of the Yakuza games, and I'll freaking play them because I want to know what's going on in the story so I can play 6 because 6 looks freaking amazing. I love the Dragon Engine, even though it makes like the pores the pores in their face like massive. So everybody's face has like a shitload of holes in it. It's really funny to me. But all in all, I really love the Yakuza games. I love their concept. They're just the big, dumb, over-the-top fighting action. I love the crime drama. I love the shit out of Kazuma. Ugh. God, I just want a Yakuza bundle. That's all I want. That's all I want for Christmas. Like I said, Seth G. Macy, IGN. Yakuza Kiwami 2, released in Japan last December, is coming to the West in a special edition steelbook. The steelbook is only available for pre-orders and the first run of the game, and features art on the inside cover of Kiryu and his fierce rival, the Dragon of Kansai, Ryuji Goda. I don't remember a lot about Goda. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember a lot about Yakuza 2. I played it back on the PS2. I have it on the PS2. I don't remember almost anything from it. I think you fight Shimano at the Grand in Sotenbori. That's like all I remember, and I might even be remembering that wrong. So, Yakuza Kiwami 2 is a remake of Yakuza 2, remastered in the Dragon Engine used to create Yakuza 6. All the in-game and cutscene dialogue has been re-recorded with an emphasis on remaining as true to the original as possible. The localization has also been reworked, so it's, and I quote, the most faithful representation of the original Japanese, end quote, according to Sega. If you've forgotten or aren't familiar with the story, you can check out a 10-part webcomic series on the Yakuza Experience website to get up to speed. The original Yakuza Kiwami was a remake of the original Yakuza game and brought the experience into the modern era in blah 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 blah. So there's a quality makeover, but still left some things on the table. Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, I just love the crap out of Yakuza. Here's the next question: Will I do a Let's Play of Yakuza Kiwami 2? Maybe. Tell me in the comments if you want it. If you want it, I'll do it, because I won't say no to a Yakuza game. It's just they can kind of be weird for Let's Plays just because it's all Japanese voice. They're kind of oddly paced. I don't know if there's like a massive audience for it, but I really like them, and if you want to see it, I'll do it. Alright, moving on. I actually do a game I really don't know much about. But I saw this, had an interesting look. I saw it had a trailer and a gameplay video connected to it. So I thought, let's take a look at this game. And talk about the news. Horror game Agony has been delayed. No confirmed release date at this time. Shabana RFIGN. Horror title Agony has been set for a March 30th release date, but has been delayed. The announcement was made over the game's Kickstarter page, with the delay due to the studio putting the finishing touches to the title needed to meet fan expectations. The developers haven't shared news of a new launch date just yet. Okay, so if it is just for the finishing touches, and it was set for the end of this month, I would say late June, early July would be my guess. Let's see here. And I quote, with Agony being released across PS4, PC, and Xbox, we are facing last steps, including polishing to support every player, no matter which platform, with the best possible experience, reads the update. We wish this could have been done. Excuse me, jeez. We wish this could have been done faster, but ask for your patience to ensure you get the experience you deserve when Agony is released, end quote. There is news on the supported languages for the title, which now includes English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Russian, Polish, Turkish, and Portuguese, with more to come further down the line. Agony will be coming to PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One at launch. Alright, like I said, let's check this out. Okay, if anybody's wondering why we just jumped to here from when I said I was going to play that gameplay, I watched a little bit of that. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I can show that on YouTube. I mean, oh my god, that was go to the link in the description. Oh my god, that was terrifying. I mean, holy shit. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it wasn't like it wasn't cool, it wasn't well made. It was. I do not think I can show that on YouTube and not get shut the hell down. But it looked interesting. If you're into that kind of thing, it was dark. Oh, believe me, that was dark. All right, let's I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Next article, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remaster, reportedly single player only, no multiplayer. Article Shabana RFIGN. Last week, a listing was spotted for a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remaster, suggesting Activision may be announcing a remaster of the title sometime soon. Now, new rumors are hinting that the game may be single player only. Charlie Intel and Eurogamer report sources confirmed to both outlets that the title won't have a multiplayer mode. As Charlie Intel points out, the listing on Amazon Italy is priced at $25, and contrasted with the price of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare's remaster of $40, it would make sense the game offers only a single-player campaign at that price point. The materials Charlie Intel received also suggested Raven Software, who developed the original game, won't be handling the remaster. It's possible Beanox, who helped develop the single-player campaign for Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered, could be working on the Modern Warfare 2 remaster, according to the outlet. The developer has apparently been hiring over the last few months, with job listings stating that the studio is, and I quote, currently dedicated to the development of the Call of Duty franchise, end quote. The first Modern Warfare Remastered feature both the single-player campaign as well as multiplayer mode that had 10 maps available at launch. We'll have to wait and see if Activision is cutting multiplayer, if the rumors of the remaster existence are proven true. As far as this goes, I just added this because I knew there were people who were interested in this, but I really don't have much to say. Mostly because I'm gonna be honest, and this always draws some ire from people. I didn't like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I didn't like the first one. I liked the all gillied up mission, and that was about it. And I get a lot of people who get mad at me and go, get weird. But again, that's because, watch my channel, I love single player games. That's why I really loved, I liked Advanced Warfare, because Kevin Spacey acted the shit out of that game. And say what you want about Kevin Spacey, he did some stuff. I'm not saying he didn't, but man, as an actor, he was good. I'll say that. What was the next one? Infinite Warfare, loved the hell out of that one. Again, people will then ask me why don't I like the Black Ops games. It's just because I there's something about Black Ops that just doesn't draw me. and I can't tell you what it is. It's just, I loved the first one, and then I think it was the first Black Ops, and then it was Ghosts, and I loved Ghosts. I want a sequel to Ghosts. I never got around to Black Ops 2, and by the time I tried it, and I'm just like, it just didn't interest me. And then we got like all the way into, because I kind of liked the whole spy thing. It's sort of like in Vietnam, and it's you're this Russian guy who you met in prison, but he like mind fucked you into thinking that he was always next to you, but you're acting. It is weird. Love the story, and then in my opinion, the subsequent Black Ops games had none of that. So I want a sequel to Ghosts still. I want that to happen, especially the way Ghosts ended. I mean, if anybody knows the spoiler alert for Call of Duty Ghosts, the very end of the game, your main character, I believe the main villain shoots his brother. I can't remember if the brother dies or not, but it shoots his brother, and like shoots you like in the leg or like chest or something. Like you're kind of like bleeding out, and he like pulls you out of this like busted up tank, and he's gonna like basically the way he explained, he's gonna reprogram you to be like a super soldier for him. I loved the concept. I loved the ending, how just not okay. It was messed up sort of ending, and dear God, I want that game. I really want a sequel to Ghosts. Back on point. It's the Modern Warfare series, not my favorites. As far as the multiplayer goes, the whole thing of saying, oh well, it's $25 and the last remaster was $40. Maybe, I mean, how well did the first remaster do? I don't remember seeing it like it did anything for sales. I mean, I'm willing to bet it got its money back, but I think with Modern Warfare 2, I think that's just what it is. I think it might be just them trying to get their money back. It could be a few things. What wasn't Modern Warfare 2? Wasn't that the one with the airplane, or not the airplane scene, the airport scene? Wasn't that? I think that was Modern Warfare 2. Like I said, can't remember exactly. But yeah, I mean, there could be a few different reasons why it's 40 and not 25. And I mean, it maybe not just. It's just the single player campaign. If it's just the single player campaign, okay, it would still make sense. I just don't think it. I don't know. I don't have any like real comments on this. I've just been sitting here for like 5-10 minutes talking about Call of Duty games that I like. Next article by way of Eurogamer. I really like the site's new presentation. It's really pretty. Article Matt Wales. Eurogamer Hitman Episode 2 Sapienza is currently free on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. You got a month to grab it. Developer IO Interactive is giving away Hitman Sapienza map and its accompanying mission for free on PC, PS4, and Xbox One as part of its newly released Spring Pack. The Spring Pack is essentially Episode 2 in Hitman's 6-episode season. IO gave away Episode 1 Paris in December and features the World of Tomorrow story mission. 20 levels of mastery with weapon and item unlocks over 100 challenges plus 7 achievements / trophies. It also includes all contracts, challenge packs, and feature contracts that IO has released for Sapienza, and all Sapienza-based elusive targets have been reactivated as part of the giveaway. Full details can be found over on IO's website. The Spring Pack is available now on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and will be available for free until April 3rd. Once downloaded, Sapienza is yours to keep permanently. All progress made will carry over to the full game should you choose to buy Hitman's Game of the Year edition. Again, this is just kind of a informative article. I don't have a whole lot to say. I think Hitman was... I liked it. I think it was cool. I enjoyed it. But I still think that they could... I think the decision to make that an episodic release was bad. Now, some people disagree with me on that, because I know some people really liked you had this one mission, and we're going to do this 8,000 times. But again, for people like me who love the story, and I think Hitman has a great story to it, we're going to give you just these little chunks of story. And by the time that the next one came out, I'd totally forgotten everything. I can't remember what's going on. It's just... I don't think the episodic season worked for this game style. I really liked the game. I thought it was well done. But again, I think doing it as an episodic series was a bad plan. That's really all I have to say about Hitman being free. But if you're interested, you pick it up for free until I think it was April 3rd. April 3rd. Wait a minute, did he say 3rd? Right there, guys. Just a little heads up. That breaks AP style. Yeah, it's what I learned in college. It's supposed to be April 3. Look at me being a gigantic asshole. Oh, Christ. All right, next article, IGN, Alex Osborne, GDC 2018 Ark Survival Evolved coming to the Nintendo Switch. Ark Survival Evolved is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Studio Wildcard announced during Epic Games' State of Unreal keynote today at Game Developers Conference, GDC 2018. The prehistoric survival game will be released digitally and at retail for Nintendo's console this fall. The Switch version is being co-developed by Abstraction Games and will feature all the content found in the original release, including over 100 different creatures. Studio Wildcard also announced the first wave of closed beta invites to War Drum Studios' recently announced mobile version of Ark Survival Evolved. Ark Survival Evolved have been sent out to iOS users. The mobile version will provide the full online experience and release for both iOS and Android as a free-to-play title. Like the concept of Ark. Wait, is that really? Is that an Ark? I haven't seen that far where a dragon happens. That's interesting. But it kind of looks like an adult version of Spyro. Anyone else see it? I kind of see Spyro in that. All in all, Ark didn't appeal to me, but it just like Rust didn't appeal to me, or Minecraft doesn't appeal to me. A lot of these, we're gonna dump you on this island and figure it out. I'm not a massive fan of a lot of those games, but all in all, I know a lot of people are, and I think this game has some, should have some legs on the Switch. I really think that, again, it's a cool console. The Switch, I think, can bring some experiences that I wouldn't maybe like on a main console. It can probably make some experiences that I wouldn't like on a main console and make me actually kind of want to play them. Not necessarily this, but I'm not into this kind of game. But I mean, what I'm talking about, I've said this, I really want Persona to come over to the Switch. And I know it won't, but man, that would be cool. So I could actually like sit and level grind over on my bed, or I can do it whatever instead of having to be at my desk and sit in my chair and everything. I really like that the next Valkyria Chronicles game is going to be on the Switch. I'm going to play that thing on the Switch. I play Telltale games on the Switch. I would play... there's a lot of things I would play on the Switch. I really like it. I want more turn-based JRPGs on the Switch. That would be really great. Final Fantasy X, I would play the crap out of on the Switch. One game, you know what? I'll talk about it after this next story, because this is kind of some new Switch stuff. Still, bunch of new Switch stuff. Banner Saga 3 confirmed for the Switch. 1 and 2 coming soon. After one of the article, Chris Carter, Destructoid. After one of the first successful video game Kickstarters, Banner Saga has been a shining star for the platform. Not only did Stoic deliver on its promise to give us a memorable strategy game with a beautiful art style, but they also went full steam ahead into a sequel in Banner Saga 2, and another follow-up in Banner Saga 3, the latter of which is scheduled to release this year. Previously, the series has been released on PC, mobile, PS4, and Xbox One, but now it's headed to the Switch in its entirety. As announced by way of the Nindies showcase, I really love Nintendo Nindies segment this morning. Banner Saga 3 will arrive on Switch later this year, and the first 2 games are coming soon. Smart move to get the first 2 out ahead of time. I agree. I think that's, if you're going to release that. This is kind of has like a cartoonish look to it, but I mean, it's, as far as I've been able to kind of figure it out, it's sort of like XCOM with Vikings. I'm sold. I wanted to play the Banner Saga games. I've just never gotten around to it. And again, I think this is something that I'd like more on Switch than I would on PS4. XCOM itself. I mean, I'd play that a lot on the Switch. But yeah, I'll probably honestly, I'll play these on the channel if when I get them for Switch. There is one other game that I would get on Switch over anything else, and this some people would think this is kind of weird, and I've not heard anything about this coming to the Switch. This is entirely me saying I think this game would work really well on the Switch, and that is Catherine Full Body. When they do the remaster Catherine, I kind of want them to make a Switch port, because I think that game not only visually would look amazing would look good on the Switch. Because I don't think that game's super technically demanding. I think the Switch could run it. I think it would look really good on the Switch. But I think that gameplay style, that how it's kind of visual novel-y, where it's walking around the bar and talking to people, that would be really fun. Just, again, sitting in my bed or whatever, not having to be in my chair or anything. Or being out in the... just although you probably don't want to play Catherine outside of your house. If anybody who's played Catherine knows what I mean. God, I'm any chance I can take to talk about Catherine. I love that game. But yeah, I think that would be really cool on the Switch as well. I mean, this is all part of what I think the Switch is doing really well about it. It's not being, okay, everything else is everything else, and we're Nintendo. I like how Nintendo's bringing in a whole lot of third-party content. I think that is probably the godsend for the Switch, and the fact that the Switch is actually a good console. Take that, Wii U. I think the Switch was everything that the Wii U tried to be, and better. So, all right. Well, that's the end of this block. We still have one more. I'm trying to think. What are we talking about? We're talking Fortnite revenue and God of War. That's what we're talking about, and we will talk about that in a moment. Alright everyone, let's get into our last block. As I said, we're starting with Fortnite revenue. Fortnite's revenue of $126 million in February eclipses PUBG's. Article Shabana RF IGN. Last month, Fortnite's revenue topped that of its Battle Royale rival, PUBG, earning $126 million. An impressive feat considering it's a free-to-play game and all that money came from in-app purchases. By comparison, PUBG brought in $103 million, with most of that being attributed to the one-off purchases of the game itself, reports The Verge. While PUBG does offer in-game app purchases, Bluehole hasn't mechanized the model as much as Epic, which rolls out new skins and emotes with each new season, as well event-specific items like the recent Spring It On with its St. Patrick's Day themed hero and rewards. Okay, so right there, I think that's a big thing to mention here. I think Fortnite and PUBG, I like PUBG better, personally. I've played a little PUBG, haven't really played Fortnite. So, but for me, it's the cartoonish look of Fortnite that I love, and don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with cartoonish stuff. Like, I love Saints Row. God, I want Saints Row 5 to happen, and not Agents of Mayhem. Agents of Mayhem was okay at best, but it wasn't. It was kind of like, here, we're going to do like a real spy version of Saints Row, and it just didn't work. It wasn't Saints Row. Saints Row is awesome. But Fortnite, to me, it's so cartoonish. That's my thing with it. It's just, it's so cartoonish, and it's so, it doesn't, to me, have the, and yes, PUBG's kind of wacky, because you have the guys running around in their underpants, or this, but all in all, I really love PUBG, in what it does. But I think they're different games and they cater to different audiences. I think PUBG caters to more of a hardcore shooter fan, while I don't want to say Fortnite appeals more to casual players, but I think its art style and everything will draw in more casual players. And I think there are some serious people who like Fortnite. And the battle between Fortnite and PUBG is going to go on forever until one of them dies. But all in all, I think there's something else to be said, that the fact that Fortnite's a free-to-play game and PUBG isn't. PUBG has an actual cost, and then Fortnite you buy, and then you can just buy all this extra stuff. I can't remember where it was. It was something, I think it was someone from EA was talking about this. It was an article I read like a couple years ago, and they said something along the lines of, it's easier to find one person who will drop $10 on an app, on like an app game, than it would be to find 10 people who are willing to spend $1 getting rid of ads. Does that make sense? So I think with it's this model of skins and emotes and all this, and they're constantly dropping new ones, and here's specific, like, event specific items, and here's this and here's that. I think that is a big thing that's going to draw, that certain people are going to see these small little purchases, and I think they're grabbing, maybe not everyone buying them, but I think they're getting those. I think Fortnite's getting enough of those people who's going to drop $10 on it, and who's going to drop this and that. I think Overwatch has a very similar kind of model to it, and I don't think PUBG has that. So I think that can explain the difference in revenue. I mean, 103 million still isn't anything to sneeze at, and especially what PUBG's been out for a full year now. Fortnite's been. How long's Fortnite been out? Anybody know? If anybody can tell me that, I can't remember off the top of my head. Fortnite's free-to-play model combined with the more forgiving learning curve, called it lower age rating and style of graphics, are the factors that work well to draw players in, says analytics from Superdata Research. Boom. What did I just say? I didn't read this far into the article. Eat it. I really should probably read these all the way through before I talk about that. I don't like to have planned takes. I like to kind of give the raw stuff off the top of my head, what I think in the moment. But yeah, I really do. I think that's a big thing for it. I think the learning curve, the age rating, the style, all that really does help Fortnite gain more players. If you take PUBG's ongoing battle with cheaters into account, it's easy to see why Fortnite's player base continues to grow, while PUBG's is seemingly dropping off despite sales reaching 30 million and the game earning the title of the third highest selling game in Steam's history. Fortnite continues to dominate over on Twitch too, becoming the most watched and most streamed game on the platform earlier this month with double the viewership of PUBG. According to Superdata Research, Fortnite had 14 million unique viewers on Twitch in the last week of February, compared to 8.7 million for PUBG. That was a huge turnaround based on the data from the last week of January, when Fortnite had 6.1 unique viewers on Twitch compared to PUBG's 8.5 million. As we can see, PUBG, and Fortnite. And again, I think this downturn in PUBG, again, like they mentioned, the cheaters, I think that's a big thing. Again, I think the amount of time that PUBG has been out compared to Fortnite's Battle Royale, I think these are things to take into consideration. It was recently revealed that Fortnite's bigger streamer, Tyler Ninja Blevins, I don't know, is raking in over $500,000 a month from playing the game on Twitch. I don't get why people found that surprising. I'm just sitting here going, yeah, okay, I'd expect it. I don't get why that's woo. Like, I saw like mainstream news talking about that, and that's weird. Fortnite's success extends to its new mobile title, which has enjoyed a stellar launch, even though the release is currently limited to an invite-only event on iOS before it goes live on both iOS and Android. The app topped the iOS charts in 47 countries in less than 24 hours and ranked in over 1 million in just 3 days. Epic revealed a new feature for the PC and console version of the game at GDC with Fortnite's replay tool. We've got a developer walkthrough right now here, explain how that all works, and you can follow any of these hyperlinks by going to the article link down in the description. Overall, I'm going to still say I like PUBG better. I think it's better. It's just, I like the more realistic thing of PUBG. I like the, you drop in. I'm not even 100% sure how Fortnite works, but again, it's something about PUBG that draws me in, and I think it's because of how much I love stuff like, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I read The Hunger Games, loved it. Don't chastise me too much. I really liked Battle Royale, if that gets me any sort of credit back. I loved Battle Royale. It was so good. Oh, don't watch the movie. Read the book. Book's better. The movie's okay. It's If you ever watch the original Battle Royale movie, you'll know why. Just read the book. It's awesome. It's violent, but it's a good book. But yeah, I mean, that's just what PUBG reminds me of, and I think it's just because that genre. I really like gladiator stuff, and I like these people, just like I said, like normal clothed people, just dropping into this environment. I think it's cool. So I think if they can also fix the whole cheater thing, I think that's going to draw a lot of people back to PUBG. So, all right. Now into our final topic, God of War. A cool God of War PS4 feature was rejected from Tomb Raider reboot. This is interesting. We'll get into what that is in a second here. Article Tamar Hussein, GameSpot. Just quick notes. I believe I saw on Twitter, God of War has gone gold. It is done. It is made. It is all this ready to be shipped out. Can't wait. Holy, that's next month. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm getting all ready for Far Cry 5 and now this. Oh, it's such a great year. God of War directed. Already fucked it up. God of War director Cory Barlog has discussed his time working on Crystal Dynamics' 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider. Specifically, one of the big ideas he had for the game and why he decided to leave the project. Speaking in an interview with the Daily Star, Barlog was asked about the new God of War's one-shot cinematic technique, which presents its entire story in one uninterrupted shot without cuts or fades. This, he said, was something that he originally pitched for Tomb Raider, though his efforts were unsuccessful. And I quote, "I wanted to do the one-shot camera technique, and I had pitched it to Crystal Dynamics when I was there working on Tomb Raider, and everyone was like, 'That's crazy, we don't want to do that,'" end quote, he explained. I don't see what the problem. I mean, this sounds like a really good idea. The studio's resistance to the idea contributed to his decision to leave and return to Sony Santa Monica, where he directed God of War 2, wrote multiple other God of War titles, and is now directing the newest entry in the series for PS4. And I quote, my reaction was like, yeah, I don't know if it's the best place for me anyway. I was already starting to talk to people about new roles at Sony, and then I think I realized the new God of War is the one I can do it on. Barlog added that he now has, and I quote, "a lot more creative support and faith with Sony, which he says is willing to support crazier ideas regardless of how much of a leap off a cliff it is," end quote. Despite this, the path to getting the one shot in God of War wasn't easy, and it's only recently that people have understood why it was important. Well, yeah, it's oh God, what game kind of did this? Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, it did load-ins when you walked into a mission. I mean, it was cool that, certain missions were involved both Franklin and Trevor, but if you walked in as Trevor, you got to see the beginning in a different context than if you started it with Franklin. That was cool. And the way that the cutscene wouldn't end with like a cut, or when it would just be the character like walking. It was a smooth transition from the end of the cutscene to gameplay, but it had a loading screen coming in. So that's something interesting here, that this game doesn't even have them going in or out. So I think it is important in the context if you want to do kind of a more cinematic experience, which I think this game is going to nail compared to the old God of Wars. Let's see here. And I quote, "I've had a bee in my bonnet about the one-shot camera for quite a long time, and I got a lot of resistance," he said. "In the beginning, I had to fight the fight with everybody on the development team, and eventually, one by one, you win them over, you show them something, you explain how it's going to be, but honestly, I think even then, they weren't convinced. In this last month, everybody's had a lot of free time, bugs have to be reproduced, and as most people are creating content, they are playing the game more. And I'm getting leads from various departments and animators and artists from the studio coming into my office and saying, 'Okay, I get it. Seeing the game as a whole makes sense. I see why you wanted this thing,' end quote. God of War's release date has been set for April 20th. God damn. GameSpot recently played the game. You can hear about our impressions in the GameSpot gameplay preview. The series' iconic protagonist Kratos has also undergone some significant changes for his latest outing, and we talked to Barlog about that in an interview. You can watch him discuss Sony Santa Monica's new vision for Kratos in the video at the top of this page. In Tomb Raider, blah blah blah. Yep, the new Tomb Raider. I really like the new approach for Kratos. I like him not being that crazy dude with the blades of chaos. I like his axe and his new bearded feature, which, by the way, 15 minutes of gameplay. We're gonna watch this to close this video out. But yeah, I really like the new approach to Kratos. I think they developed him more as a character. Some people I've talked to, actually, that's the thing that they're most unsure about, is the new Kratos. And I said, I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, he's done all this crazy crap in the earlier ones. He's been this guy, and he leaves the Greek mythology world. I can't remember exactly how 3 ends, but he leaves this world and now he's in Norse mythology. And it's not like we change universes or anything. It's the same world. It's just we're over here now, not over there. And I think that's cool. And I still remember the first time we saw this Kratos. It was just, it was cool.
And I'll say something, this axe, this Leviathan axe.
There it is.
That's rad.
So cool.
Just throwing it back and forth.
And it just recalling it. You can look at that, tripping enemies.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to PlayStation Underground. We got something real special lined up for you today. Myself, Sid Schumann, Justin Massengill, and Kristen Titus are going to walk you through some new footage from God of War, launching on PS4 April 20th. And my goodness gracious, does this game look sensational. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's first talk about that. I mean, just Jesus Christ, that's pretty. I actually haven't really seen much combat in this game. I haven't been watching a lot of gameplay. I kind of want to come into this game fresh, but just seeing it there when he was throwing the axe around, that's kind of cool. How it's not just a melee weapon. It's also kind of a ranged weapon as well. I mean, I'm also wondering, these runic things. I mean, they kind of light up. You've seen him when he throws the axe or swings it or whatever. But I'm seeing this right here. I'm not sure if I'm trying to be too detail-oriented or whatever, but you see this gem right here and this one right here, and then you see that kind of looks like a space for another one, and maybe there could be 1 or 2 more here and here. So I'm not, maybe as he goes, does he pick up more stuff and the axe gets more powerful? Does it get more abilities? The combat itself looks, I like the slower pace and how it looks a lot more about dodging and picking your attacks. The enemy health bar, that was also an interesting new addition and all that, but again, just look at that. Just God damn, this game's pretty.
Wow, that looks very good.
Now, Justin, you have not played it. Kristen,
I'm coming totally fresh here.
That's right. Kristen, you and I got a chance to play this.
Yes, we did.
And I think it's safe to say that we liked what we played.
So first things first, I'm noticing.
Interesting, right there. It's using the button. It's using but come on, damn it, the control scheme. Or not necessarily the control scheme, but it's using the same buttons as AC Origins with that's because you usually don't see that. You don't see R1 the light attack, R2 the heavy. Or do you? What is it in Dark Souls? I don't play Dark Souls, so I wouldn't know, but
R1, R2 for your attacks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a big change.
Yes, indeed. No more face buttons. I believe that is still an option that you can select as an optional thing, but you're going to see why when you start playing the game. It's a lot more tactile. It's a lot more immersive. And here we have a parry. You still got that classic action from God of War. And I'll say something, this axe, this Leviathan axe.
There it is.
That's rad.
So cool.
Just throwing it back and forth.
And it just recalling it. You can look at that, tripping enemies.
Oh, yeah. So tell me how
Bam.
the actual mechanics of using that axe works. You throw it like a boomerang?
You throw it and you sort of aim at something, you toss it, and if it hits an enemy, it'll freeze them in place.
Okay.
You can use it in puzzles. You can then hit a button. I think it's square. You recall it back in your hand. So right there, you can see he's frozen.
Stuck in that guy's face. Okay.
Now, right now, Kratos, the fisticuffs is very, very fun in this game. As much fun, I think, as the axe. What do you think, Kristen?
I loved whenever I would throw the axe and then just start beating up on somebody else. Occasionally, you'll have an enemy where you actually have to use that tactic. It definitely wants you to use everything in your arsenal.
And
so you have completely different movesets depending on whether the axe is in his hands or stuck in an enemy's chest.
Right, you got a shield, like a full-blown shield, a little dab of Dark Souls there. You kind of walk around. Shield comes in handy for this hand-to-hand combat too.
The best defense is good offense, right?
So these are the lighter slashes with the axe. I think it's R1.
Okay.
And it's a little bit reminiscent of the classic games, just with more impact. You can see juggling the enemy, hammering him into the ground.
The head looks really chunky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
okay. See, I was saying I kind of liked how it looked, how the combat looks slower. It doesn't look not necessarily slower, but I think the new camera angle makes it. Yeah, I think what they just said there, how it feels. I think it's like chunky. It feels like weighty. Like you're still seeing him juggling. He's still doing these cool combos, but but this new camera angle and button scheme and everything, I think makes the game appear, gives it a darker, and not a darker feel, not a more visceral feel, less arcadey. I'll put it that way. Really interesting. I like what I'm seeing. It's awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm being a massive nerd. I'm so excited.
Very beefy. That was I was talking to Corey Barlog. He's the creative director at Santa Monica, and they wanted this weapon, this Leviathan axe, to have a weight to it. And I say mission accomplished.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I see like a chain over there to the left that you were watching.
That's cool. Still, they got those brutal.
Yeah, they are not toning down the brutality of this game.
That's right. Yeah. So here's that chain. Your eagle eye caught there. Now here's a cool example of a puzzle. I remember this one instantly. This axe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's little things like that. I really like how they come with the puzzle solving in this. I always like the puzzles in the last games, but it got to be a little bit of much with the block pushing and everything. They really opened that up in this game.
Big change. You didn't have to mash that button to open the chest.
That's correct. Hack silver is one of the sort of resources you'll collect.
Is that like a currency, a crafting material? What's that all?
Yes.
All the above.
A little bit of
Haha.
just recall that back.
Yeah. So cool.
So nothing is more satisfying though when you do it.
You got the big guy here.
Big boy.
Yeah. So, interesting detail here. You can either sort of let Atreus kind of just circle the perimeter, and he'll kind of do his own thing.
Yeah.
Call out enemy positions, things like that. Or you can actually manually direct him with the sun button, which I think is square. You can aim and have him fire directly at whatever you want.
I like how the axe just kind of bounced off of him there.
Yeah.
That was kind of...
Well, I mean, yeah, the axe bounced off, but then did anybody see what he did after that? Because it bounced off him, but then he kind of like, it called it back to him, caught it, and then did like the way the moves chain together is really neat. It's I think this game, if it's doing anything better than the older ones, it's just how pretty it is. Just the visual presentation is so much better.
These trolls are not easy, I can tell you that right now.
But Atreus definitely becomes very helpful. He can distract your enemy for you. He can sort of draw attention, so you can just dive right in there.
Yeah.
You have to give them some time to build back those arrows, so they won't always be there. You got to use them.
You can't just say fire.
Exactly.
Oh, and I see in the bottom right, is that an indication of how many arrows he has available?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
This guy takes some punishment.
Yeah.
The detail on these characters is staggering. Oh, and real quick, if you look at Kratos here, look at his kind of his butt, his thighs. You can see his remnants of his old armor poking out. You see those red straps?
Oh.
See what I mean? Like, there's a ton of details. Look at the wrappings on his arms.
Yeah.
From the chains.
Where the chains were, yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool character design in this. Obviously, he's got the classic red war paint or scar or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Different kinds of chests of different animations.
That's one way to open a chest.
Classic Kratos.
He doesn't have time to open chests.
There's a lot of looting in this game. There's a lot of just kind of items and things. There's reasons to explore sort of the world around you.
You know, I haven't said this, but I didn't pause in a good moment.
Was digging in every nook and cranny.
There we go. This thing right there, I just caught that. I'm not sure again if I'm just being weird and noticing something that's not important. But that's the symbol for the game. It's isn't that the sign for Omega? I believe that's what it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if that's important. There was something else I wanted to say. I'm really hoping for that in this game we get to explore more about we get some references to Kratos' old life, why he is the way he is now, how he got here, and I hope this is one of the times I'm not hoping that's at the beginning. I'm kind of hoping that this game kind of just drops you in, kind of like how we saw it at E3 for the first time, and Kratos came out of that shadow. You know, he had the beard and all this, and he's playing with this kid, and that's something you wouldn't expect Kratos to do, and he's got this little family now, and I'm kind of hoping that throughout this game that we explore more about who Kratos is, and I want to see if this kid knows he's like Kratos, or if he's just knows him as his dad, and then as this game goes, he's like learning more about Kratos and kind of maybe learns that he's kind of a shitty person, but then the whole oh, he's changed or whatever. I don't know. This is all total guess. This is all guesswork and probably bullshit. But I'm really interested. I want to know. I want to play it.
Yeah, do we know any more about how that all works, like the progression in terms of the currency systems and the economy?
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit more of that later on, but yeah, that is deeper, I think, than you may be anticipating. So stay tuned.
I've seen videos of it. It's interesting.
Instruction manual here.
That's very funny.
Reversible box art.
A little bit of Norse mythology.
How did they get up there? What's
So
happening there at the end? They eat the sun and moon? And then everybody fights?
Atreus the Scholar.
That's right. Yeah, he can read all the sort of runic messages that are scattered around. So
Is Kratos able to read that stuff?
he is not.
Oh, I see.
So that's one of the things that's interesting about this game. That's super cool right there. I love that.
Yeah.
Atreus really is, as you can see, he's not, there's like zero maintenance involved. Oh, here's one of these kills. Bam.
Awesome.
Wow.
Satisfying. Yeah, you can, there's actually a stun.
Okay, crap. I didn't get it at the right moment. You can still
Quality.
try and get it next time.
Enemies using your fists.
Oh, nice.
So it kind of adds stun damage, and then you can click R3 and do the sort of one-hit takedown.
Okay, yeah. This is what they're talking about right there. The health bar, and that's that stun damage or whatever they were talking about. And that's what let him do that cool execution.
Which is really satisfying.
Man, the way that enemies react to hits is so just like
Juicy.
so organic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks awesome. I saw something on the side of the screen a moment ago that said new labor. It looked like those are like challenges because I saw that when he shattered that enemy, it said new labor, shatterer. So I assume that then if you go shatter a bunch of enemies.
Exactly. The more enemies that you come into contact with, the more you fill out your bestiary. You'll get labors that are, kill this amount of enemies and you can receive X, Y, and Z, but some of them will do a specific move to take them down. Just giving you a little bit more challenge beyond just the hack and slash.
Look at Atreus.
I was literally about to say I love this kid. I'm so I can't wait to see how much of this game, like how integral he is to the story. How all this that's gonna be really cool. But I like this. He's getting on his back and choking him out. Or like when he's calling out behind you, it kind of reminds me of the voices that Senua hears in Senua's Sacrifice. That's kind of what it reminds me of. That's gonna be really interesting. I can't wait to get my hands on this. Right there, they were talking about that like a bestiary and all this stuff. Really interested to see what that's gonna be. Again, I just don't know a lot about this game or the inner mechanics because this game, from everything that I'm able to tell, this thing is way deeper than I think anyone's expecting. And, can't wait! I just can't wait, guys. That's just what you're gonna hear me say for like the next 11 minutes. Oh, I can't wait.
As they're holding that guy down.
Yeah.
And then you can look at that, kicking people into each other.
Yeah.
It's just
Super
seamless.
cool. Yeah.
A tooltip a moment ago, press down on the D-pad to do a quick turn. So that sounds like really like a street things a bit there.
Absolutely. You'll also see in the bottom left, there's a meter towards the bottom that is filling up as Kratos keeps beating people down. That's his, the rage meter?
Spartan Rage,
so
yeah.
that fills up.
Triumphant return.
Some things just don't change, Justin. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, as you can see, bam!
Oh,
I mean, it's just really crunchy combat. It was the thing that I immediately noticed as soon as I started playing. It was just like, man, that axe feels
If you pay
good.
attention, the camera actually lends to the way that combat feels too.
Absolutely.
It shakes a little bit when there's an impact.
You get a sense of that impact,
Yeah.
I mean, the Blades of Exile, Blades of Chaos from the last games, I mean, they were really cool weapons, but this one just has this sort of nastiness to it that I really appreciate.
Brutal.
and again, I think it's because they're going. This looks less cartoonish, and nothing against the first one. The first one was more of a flat-out hack and slash game, which those are always kind of cartoonish. I mean, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, I like them, but this doesn't seem as blatantly like hack and slash. This seems a little bit more just action game. It kind of reminds me of Rise: Son of Rome. God, I want that. I want to play that game again. Either way. But yeah, I think a big part of that was putting the camera down closer to Kratos, like almost right over his shoulder, not that kind of sky cam that you see in most hack and slash.
It'll feel familiar though when you're using it. I mean, there's some of the strategies are still kind of evoked there.
Another new thing, XP. Well, I guess you sort of had like there was the progression in the old games, but now we have like the standard XP
stats
increasing there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get a closer look a little later, but yeah.
These aren't moving. Are they dead? I mean, more dead?
The graphics here are just insane.
I like how they actually even went to the trouble of building in the little hook on the back of his armor for the axe, rather than having it just kind of float in place there.
Yeah, so as the game just helpfully reminded us, there are actually different levels of enemies at your fight. So
What?
That was actually a super smart move there, driving that guy off that cliff.
Oh, yeah.
But some of these Draugrs you're fighting here, that's sort of the foot soldiers, the undead foot soldiers, some of them are much tougher than others.
Hold L1, then press R1 to perform a light runic attack. What does that mean?
That is a type of magic. It's something that you can get. You can imbue your attacks with it. Oh!
Was that R3? You click R3
Yeah.
to do that? Nice.
Yeah, that was my move. I would run in there bare knuckle brawling. I loved it. So
I love
fun.
how the axe can even hit guys on the way. So it's smart to throw the axe at somebody, then kind of line of sight yourself with
Exactly.
another and call it back.
It is much more strategic, the combat in this.
Yeah.
There are going to be, look at that. That was a perfect example of recalling the axe, hitting two guys in one go. But look at this. I mean, this is not a kinder, gentler Kratos, but it is a little bit of a more strategic Kratos. And that's something I really appreciated as I played this. Oh, yeah.
Man, this looks so good.
Yeah.
Did he just like charge up throwing that axe?
Yep.
Is that what that is? Nice.
I didn't even know he could do that, but yeah, this is a really good looking game.
Oh, there's some loot on the ground. You missed it. Pick up. Pick up the shiny stuff.
So this relationship between Kratos and Atreus is like a foundation of this game.
Yeah.
And you really pick up on it within minutes of playing it. You immediately are captivated by the relationship they've got.
Wow.
Slowing things down a little bit here. There's your loot. Those green items are health.
Okay.
So that's treated a little bit differently. You don't have to open chests every time now to get more.
Used to be a marketplace. The giants used to gather here to trade with the gods a long time ago. I wonder if Odin was ever here.
I love the Norse mythology just kind of winds its way around everything. It's
Exactly. It feels natural.
yeah. You're kind of unraveling it, and it's obviously a unique sort of interpretation.
Do you know anything about how closely they kind of stuck to the original mythology, or how many liberties they took?
I think it's so. That's the thing about Norse mythology is it's super open to interpretation. There's different names, different characters. There's a lot of different interpretations of it. So when I talked to Corey about that, he explained that they really wanted to kind of make their own mark on it and kind of do their own version of it. So we don't know how far it goes just yet because we're just getting an early look at the game.
Wow.
But I guess you're just gonna have to play it when it comes out, Justin.
April 20th. Only on PlayStation 4.
These are heavy Draugrs.
Yeah.
These guys are serious business. I was really struggling with them. There's a great parody. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that was
Awesome.
great. Oh, shatter that guy. Okay, yeah.
So good. I was really excited for this game, but when I played it, I was like, get out of the way.
Oh, what's happening here? What was that? Is that like a perfect parry kind of?
A little bit of runic magic, I believe.
Oh, cool. I see you can press L3 and R3 together to do something.
That's Spartan Rage. Yeah, that's a real interesting take on that one too. Boom.
Oh, I see they have like a little snowflake meter above their health bar as you're hitting them with that axe. I assume that when that fills up, that's when they freeze.
Mm-hmm. Nothing like stepping on a little health crystal.
It's so cool to finally see this game in action. We've seen so many awesome-looking trailers. The game has looked so impressive ever since we revealed it a couple years ago. Just seeing it being played now just is so encouraging. And man, it looks like they just nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, that was my take on it. Like, I just sort of fell in love instantly.
What's happening?
This is an interesting part.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Say, be quiet.
The Revenant.
That's the Revenant. So
Whoa!
she's a little too quick for Kratos. Like, that's the thing.
Oh.
See?
But maybe Atreus can stun her with a strategic arrow.
Boom, right there.
Nice.
So it's battles like this that really show you how integral Atreus is. He's not just a companion. He's absolutely a part of the fight.
That's awesome.
So he's going for the stun damage right there. He got it.
R3, do it. Oh!
Oh, I love.
Very
Oh,
brutal.
it's just covered in blood.
Everybody was worried that Kratos was going to be getting a little kinder in his old age.
I expect an improvement.
This fun little character. What's this guy's name?
Brock.
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 B-R-O-K, Brock.
Little blue guy.
So, where's the other half of the brand?
All my dumb brothers got it, but I got all the talent.
This guy cracked me up.
Yeah, this I didn't know what to make of this character, but
Is he like a blacksmith?
yeah.
Okay.
So here you go. Just getting to the deep dive stuff here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's juicy.
Here's the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything else looks I'm a nerd for like upgrade trees and progression stuff and all that.
This game is gonna speak to you, my friend.
Yeah. There was a lot more going on here than I was expecting, to be totally honest.
See, this is what I was interested in.
Yeah.
God of fashion.
Be too careful now.
God of fashion. Another quick look. If you look down his lower torso, you see that classic armor poking out from beneath.
Now, bad friends, you were hiding it.
Whoa. I'm just gonna go back just a little bit here.
Down, his lower
Bam. Looks like we can also upgrade Atreus at the same time. I'm not sure how deep that goes or how much upgrading him is important. Like maybe you can upgrade him to have more arrows, maybe do something like that. But yeah, something to keep an eye out.
torso, you see that classic armor poking out from beneath.
Now, bad friends who were hiding in the trees are back for more. Go on, give that axe a twirl.
Got that upgraded Leviathan axe here, and you're going to see this thing is way more potent now.
Wait, are you just fighting this thing right in front of Brock?
Yeah.
As you do. So satisfying.
That parry is so nice.
Satisfying.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the air juggles going.
Oh, yeah,
Look
big
at that.
time, big
Nice.
time. So again, there's going to be some things veterans are going to recognize, and that's one of them. Oh, I love
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I love this little move.
Oh, I
there.
was just going to ask what was going on with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of environment interaction, kicking guys on the walls. You know, you're clever. You can kind of, drop pots on their head, things like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And a lush natural environment for you.
The environment work here is just
Yeah.
stunning.
It's stunning.
Yeah.
Really, really pretty game.
Even just from it going between cutscenes back into combat, back into gameplay, it's seamless, honestly.
Are the cutscenes all like rendered like with the kind of in-engine, or do they do the cut like the pre-rendered stuff like in previous games?
Well, no, it's this game has that whole philosophy around like no camera cuts. It's like one, it's just one cut from beginning to end. So
Nice.
you just go right through the entire game. It doesn't break away to say like, oh, check out what's going on over here. You're just with Kratos and Atreus for the entire experience. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
cool.
It's very intimate. It was something that actually they settled on really early in development. So.
Boy, over here. Boy.
Interesting. I may want to write that down.
Tell us more.
So that's a fresh new look at God of War. It's coming out April 20th on PS4. What do you guys think? Real quick.
Oh man, it looks incredible. I can't wait.
I'm just constantly blown away by it.
Here.
So we
What
do
does it say?
have actually a lot more coming, so stay with us, but we've got a lot more.
All right, there was our little 15 minutes gameplay for God of War. I really liked it. I'm stoked. Can't wait. April 20th. That's gonna. I really like it. I really like the concept. See right there, the God of War logo. It's right there. It's the it holds his axe. You know, I'm not sure if it was that's why it looks like that because it's like the God of War logo, or if it's the whatever. I'm stoked. I'm really interested to see how deep all of the upgrades really go into this game. I just want to get my hands on it. All I can say, I'm super pumped, excited, more words. Thank you for watching, everybody, if you made it all the way through this video. I know this was a long one. These news shows usually are. Big thanks to everybody who wrote an article, made a video, whatever. In this, go check out their channels, their game, their writing, whatever, because, they're the people who do the real work. I just aggregate, sit here, and just give my opinions. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, all that stuff is down in the description below. Please remember to like, comment if you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more next time. But until then, I'm H.A. Gels, the Gaming Channel. I'm out.